It's been a turbulent start to the DreamHack ZOWIE Open. Our second day kicked off with a best-of-3, seeing favourites for the tournament, Dignitas, eliminated. They certainly are going to be feeling the cold here in Jönköping, and now, to get things a little warmer, we're heading to North America. Cloud9 and Optic are about to meet in a best-of-3, another elimination match, and this could get spicy and indeed could be almost as long as the previous affair. We saw a full 89 rounds over 3 maps between the two, and now we do venture into another best-of-3 that, according to our analysts, who I will introduce now, of course, YNK and Moses, we have potentially got another long one on our hands. How do you think this one's going to play out? Did you see Dignitas being eliminated? Let us know with the hashtag DHOpen as I go ahead and ask these guys. I'm your host, Alex Machine Richardson, and gentlemen, this is ridiculous. Already it started with 89 rounds, and why? First question, Jason, to you. The first thing you say to me when you saw Optic Cloud9, you went, this is going to be a long one as well. Is this just historically between these two?
I mean, I think both of these teams have shown some good stuff recently, but I think more than that, I mean, especially at this tournament, the opening that we saw to them is neither of them were playing very well. But also, I mean, just regional matchups. These teams play each other a lot, so they're going to know which maps they're good on, which maps are not. They're going to know how they play them very much. So I mean, this could be 2 maps, but I would imagine that they're going to be able to, because of all that knowledge they have over practicing over matches repeatedly. It feels like it should be a 3-map series.
Yeah, I mean, the last 2 best-of-3s that these two teams did meet in, we saw Cloud9 finish in 2. Perhaps it's time for Optic to tip the scales back in their favor. The term domestic matchup and the differences that makes, Yenko, are often thrown around. And I think it's interesting to just kind of re-highlight and rehash what exactly the differences are. Yes, they meet a lot online. Is that what we're hinting at? Just you play each other a lot, you know each other a lot?
Yes, that you're familiar with the play style of the team in general, but also the individuals, right? You play against those individuals a lot, not only in competitive play, but in rank S, FPL, whatever it is. So you get to know the tendencies of players maybe on the CT side, how they like to hold. Are they an aggressive player, a passive player? So when it gets to an unofficial game, you're able to maybe get a good read based off of that previous knowledge.
And now, with all that additional knowledge, we have to address how they did get here. We can bring up the groups once again just to kind of indicate why these two teams are in the elimination match. That's right, they could very well be waving goodbye to their chances of lifting that trophy over the course of the next 2 to 3 maps. It's Group B that we find the North Americans, and you can see they are in that losers match. It's Cloud9 and Optic. First, we saw Cloud9 conceding a game to Renegades, a 16-14 affair, all the rounds necessary on Dust 2 to see the Australians go ahead and pick up that win. And in fact, they are now locked in for the semi-finals, which was a surprise to some. Optic conceding a game to Gambit. I want to actually kind of return to this one just for a moment, because a 16-10 to Gambit, I can't help but feel majority of people who observe Optic recently and have followed the scene would find a 16-10 loss and fall into the losers quite surprising from Optic. Jason?
Yeah, probably, especially with them just beating G2 in the finals of Northern Arena and taking that. I mean, definitely when you look at that team, you think they should do better against Gambit, which is a little bit unproven with this new lineup. I think the deciding factor is that I was on Cobble, because we've actually, we've seen all good things from Optic on Cobble, but as well, they played a match against Envy on Cobble, and you can see some critical flaws in how they play that map, especially if they don't really know how their opposing team is playing. They don't really have like a great plan to initiate anything over towards the A bomb site. So if they don't find anything early on when they're attacking A on Cobble, they get kind of bogged down, and that's kind of one of the marks of this team, is they have some set strategies and some set ideas, but sometimes they really struggle to go chase after an opening. They struggle to find it themselves. It almost feels like the opposing team has to make a mistake to give them an opening in a round, and I think that's where we really saw Optic struggle against Gambit.
And then, as well, some of the individuals didn't perform as well. We sat there listing the names that can show up, and they were not present on the scoreboard. That was another flaw to their game. And we did talk a little bit about Cloud9 and their game versus Renegades, but let's just quickly recap that with Mr. YNK over there. I mean, we did get to see the full 30 rounds, and I feel like we were actually praising Renegades more than we were criticizing Cloud9 after that one.
Yes, I think Renegades played a very good game, especially on the T side in the first half. They did a great job of switching bomb sides, changing the pace. Then, as the game got closer, it looked like the pressure is getting to them, which is something that it's not unfamiliar for Renegades. But in the end, they did manage to pull through, to get themselves together and to grind out that win, which was no easy task. Low economy, CT side does too, so they needed a while to make it happen.
Yeah, that was a battle of bad CT sides. In fact, we saw 5 rounds for Renegades, 4 rounds for Cloud9 on their CT sides. Perhaps they'll be able to go ahead and, well, prove themselves differently here on Dust 2, potentially in this best of 3, if that Mount Beto does go that way. Instead, though, let's meet Cloud9. They are up on the stage now. They've been plugging in their mouse and keyboards and getting themselves nice and warm. It's certainly not difficult to get warm here at DreamHack, as there is an abundance of, well, PCs, human beings, and hand warmers being handed out, and a lot of duvets. There's a lot of duvet gaming going on. Have you guys walked through the hall at all? I'm seeing. Oh, you don't even know what a duvet is, do you? Sorry, Jason.
Yeah, it's like a big blanket, a comforter. Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
I know what a duvet is.
What do you call it? A comforter?
Yeah, we call it a comforter.
A comforter.
We use both.
Comforter.
We can be cultured as well.
You can. A duvet. It sounds nicer than a comforter for sure.
Jason was surprised that people actually sleep in the hall.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You
actually.
didn't?
No, I don't know why. Well, I was actually more surprised to walk through this morning at like, what time we get here? Like 9 or 10:15, and people were just like face planted on the keyboards. That was kind of cool.
I did see that.
They're wrapped in their duvets.
Yeah, yeah. I saw someone who just looked so set up, fully wrapped in his duvet, headset on, but also just lying back watching some TV shows. People just come hang out, just to be around other people with a similar mindset and play some games. But these guys are playing a game for a little bit more than just fun. It's of course $100,000 and a lot of prestige ahead of some of the biggest events of both 2016 and closing into 2017 as well, the start of the new year, and perhaps a new force to be reckoned with. Cloud9, you saw them there. It's a roster that I do enjoy kind of highlighting some of the storylines behind them. Nothing actually with him on screen is a great starting point. Now, Jordan has secretly and sneakily, while we start praising Automatic and ZOWIE, actually risen through the ranks. His personal rating has increased tenfold. Really, it's been great to see a general rise of nothing behind Automatic and ZOWIE.
Yeah, but you have to get the feeling with that, because I mean it's well known throughout his career, even back to 1.6, that he was pretty inconsistent up and down, and he can't keep these streaks up. Yeah, he's been playing great, but this feels like, because he's been on this team so long, through the highs and through the lows, that it's more a product of ZOWIE and Automatic changing how this team functions, and being the major success of this team is those two players, that Jordan is actually playing better with them next to him. He's not really like the creator of that success. He's just kind of a product of it at the moment. But I mean, for no doubt, he is playing very, very strong. Great third option on this team. I think the big thing, and it's interesting to have talked to him when I was in Montreal, one of the things that he said is actually he is one of the players that suffers from a little bit of that wrist injury, a little bit of, he gets pain in his wrist when he plays at times. So he actually said that affects his in-game decisions, where if he's coming into a game and he's feeling his wrist start to flare up, or it's not that comfortable, he has to start making smarter decisions. He can't be as aggressive as he likes. He has to play a little bit more with his brain. He has to play a little bit more passive and kind of let the decisions come to him. So for a player like him that's known to make mistakes and some kind of over-aggressive plays, that's actually not always a bad thing, but it's just interesting to see that kind of factor into his decision-making.
It is something we don't find ourselves discussing too much. I mean, the plague of injuries has definitely been rife this year. The loss of Olofmeister, Peter 2 that spring to mind alongside nothing. But we can now venture to Optic, their opponents, Yanko, and I'm going to throw you the Optic bone. One European, some Canadians, and some North Americans bundled together to find some success, and we have crowned them as the second in line to success alongside Cloud9.
We have, and it's been a steady but sure amount of progress for this team, and it's mostly come down to that they are good at the fundamentals of the game. They rarely make huge mistakes. They're rarely going to beat themselves. You have to beat them. Similar to Heroic, in my opinion,
yeah.
right? I think they're a similar team, relying more on strategies, on a rigid playstyle than on a loose playstyle, but they also have some great individuals like Mixwell, like Tarek, Rush as well, a player that's not maybe as flashy as Mixwell and Tarek, but seems to be very solid with smart decision making. So this team has a lot of potential, many strengths. It just seems that at times I think map pool is one of their problems. I think they need to get better on more maps to really solidify their place, because when they get to best of 3 series, that's when they can start struggling, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it's just more so, it's one of the tendencies that all North American teams have had, even the ones that have had success, even like Cloud9, where they don't have that like home map. They don't have that map where they feel like no matter who they go up against, they're gonna have a good shot at winning it. Like they can play like a decent amount of maps pretty strong, but there's not that map where they're just like, okay, if we get this in the pool, that's gonna be a map for us. The same sense that you have like SK with Train, VP with certain maps.
They don't have that.
Yeah, they don't have it right now.
Well, they may be lacking that, but Cloud9, you would argue, have a similar situation. And we can actually start talking now about that map. You said it's going to be crucial, Yanko. We can bring it up and understand how this best of 3 is going to go. Much more different to the best of 1 that both of these teams had problems with. Perhaps you would describe it as a little bit of a fallback option should you concede a map.
Yeah, it's also a matter of these teams in the best of 3s they played. They had different vetoes as well. I mean, if you're looking just as a single team, you would say C9 vetoes Nuke, and Optic probably vetoes Mirage here. But the thing is, C9 had series where they wouldn't veto Nuke, knowing or assuming that Optic wouldn't pick it, so they veto something else to try and get an advantage in the process. But this time around, they do go for their regular veto. So now when it comes to picks, I agree with Jason. The problem with Optic is I think they thought that Train was their map to pick, but they really don't want to pick it against C9. They didn't have success against them on that map recently, and they decided to go for Overpass, which was what C9 would ban if not Nuke in the series against Optic.
I got to imagine that the deciding map is going to be Train. Both these teams are willing to play Train. Optic has been pretty decent on it, and Cloud9 obviously likes it. I'm interested. I hate this Dust 2. Ooh, Cobble. Okay, so I'm just way off on this.
Well, I mean, do you know what? You might interest you to know that the last 2 times these guys played, actually it was ECS, were both on Train. It was like a back-to-back Train, and Cloud9 won them both.
Is there a second set of bans, or is that randomized between the last 2 maps?
I'm so glad you asked.
There's a second.
Are you? You don't seem that you don't seem that glad.
Thoroughly glad that you asked, because I have the answer. I'm just thinking about it now.
Yeah. Just thinking of how to phrase it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Actually, I don't like, I mean, the crazy thing about Cloud9, this is what is a little bit scary about this team right now, is that they love picking Dust 2. And I think, I mean, especially when you watch that Renegades game, especially some of the Dust 2 we've seen in the past, this is where they have problems. Even when they beat SK on it at ESL Pro League in the championship, they had massive problems on the CT side. They got caught out a lot of times on awkward rotations down that A ramp. Yeah. This is where, I mean, you put Stewie and Automatic over in the B bomb site, so you have your 2 best players and your 2 big impact and playmaking players on one half of the map, and the other side of the map largely is very, very susceptible to getting overrun. That's exactly how Renegades won this game, is for the first half of that Terra side, Renegades completely avoid the B bomb site, and it really just beats up Cloud9.
What's awesome is that I have actually thought about it. I thought about it, and there is a second set of bans.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a slow process, my brain. We've just got to get all the gears in place. And
it's fine.
I'd like to get our predictions in place, because it sounds like the players are raring to go, jumping into this series. You guys said already it's going to be a long one, but now you've seen the vetoes, now you've thought about it, we've broken it down. I want to start with you, Yanko. First question is, do we see 3? And second question is, who does pick this one up in your mind?
That's the problem. These distributional maps, I think that C9 still has what it takes to win Dust 2.
Okay.
On Overpass, I'm not sure. I'll go with C9 2-0 here, because I think on Overpass, Stewie has been playing well recently, and they rely a lot on him to create space, get map information, and draw attention to himself, so that the rest of the team can react to that. So it feels like it's going to be one of those days where C9 has a good day.
Okay, giving them the edge. Cloud9 to take it in 2. Now, Jason,
I hate this.
You hate this, I know, but you can't really lose. There's more Canadians on one team, perhaps.
Of course you can lose.
Yeah, you could always
wrong.
lose. I think this is going to go to 3 map. I think they're going to take each other's picks. I think it's going to be 2-1 for Cloud9.
It's giving it to Cloud9. Wow, 2 for Cloud9, despite saying Optic have a chance to be firing on all cylinders. It is time for another best of 3. In fact, our second of the day here for the DreamHack ZOWIE Open. Will it be Cloud9, as our desk does assume, or will it be Optic, who have already found some success? In fact, they had to manage to make Cloud9 sweat over the ESL Season 4 Pro League Finals in Sao Paulo. If you wanted to recap how that event did go, if you want to see the scores the last time these 2 teams went head-to-head, you can actually check it out on the Score eSports application. It's a quick way to go ahead and understand the past, the present, and indeed some of the future with their articles there as well. Right, while you go ahead and install that, we're going to jump into your casters. It's going to be 3 maps. You're laughing at the fact I said future, like the mystic Meg.
The once in future king over here.
That's right. Well, maybe. I'm not making any false promises. I am. The Score eSports could actually help you see the future. All right, let's move in. There you go. They're going to like that one. Let's jump over to your casters, though. It's time to see what's going on in the caster corner to jump into our second best of 3.
Cheers, Alex. And yes, we are certainly looking forward to this best of 3. Cloud9 Optic has the makings of potentially the best match of the day. And I can see it going down to the wire, man.
I mean, we should just leave the players waiting more often, right? Because now they're just having a debate on ad money and, should it get added to the prize pool? Because the players right now are just assuming that the tournament organizer is spamming ads. They don't think that it's the analyst desk talking at all or anything like that. Maybe someday it actually happens. Maybe someday we will go live with this match. Maybe someday we will start the second best of 3 here out of 4 best of 3s that are coming at you today.
Stacked day of CS for sure. And, well, Overpass first up. Both teams pretty solid. We've seen on just the E-League recently, Optic wrecking Envious on this map. 16-3, I believe it was. Very one-sided indeed. Cloud9 have a decent track record on Overpass. These 2 teams faced off each other. Fair enough, it was about 2 months ago. Cloud9 came out ahead there as well, 16-13. So It's a hard one to predict for me as well, but I think purely off my gut feeling at the start of this tournament, I thought if Dignitas didn't win, it would be Cloud9. So I'm going to stay with Cloud9 here, but there's every chance Optic could throw a couple of shots across there.
Throw a wrench in things. I do,
for sure.
Like, this could definitely go 3 maps as well, and then it's going to be Cobble on the 3rd map instead of Train. I mean, that was a good point that was brought up. Granted, it's tough to bring in like ECS results into these sorts of things because it's online. LAN is a different environment, right? And Cloud9 will have just a little bit more experience than Optic, but sometimes that's the way it goes. As Stanislaw takes a bullet to the face, down to 4 HP, and he's going to be backing off over here with that long push set up.
Terrorists are coming out, but there is Stanislaw and Mixwell. And Stanislaw with a second, he was so low on health, but he's able to convert nonetheless. Great passage of play for Optic. Now puts nothing in Skadoodle against the ropes. And they are on somewhat of an island of uncertainty right now because 2 kills did come down along. They don't have connector control, and they are starting to get flanked. Tarek is the next player to stand tall. Skadoodle, what can he get done? Just the 1 kill. Optic will draw first blood.
And there is the defense. Solid shots coming through. Optic definitely a team to keep an eye on right now. They've had some interesting results recently. And Cloud9 are also looking just a little bit shaky. So, I mean, Automatic and Stewie, it's always eyes on them. It's been a long time since anybody has really looked to Skadoodle to carry this team. It really is the Automatic and Stewie show. So we're going to have to see if those guys are going to be able to get their heads in this game fast enough here to be able to put a halt to things for Optic. 1-0 lead now for Optic. And it's all on Cloud9 here to see if they can, well, get anything going for themselves. Mixwell gets the peek. Nice little nade that's going to, well, go off of some random corner and not actually go and ruin Nothing's day. So that's a little unfortunate there for Mixwell.
Unfortunate, but still in a commanding position. That being said, Mixwell has gone down. So mid-control somewhat lost now. They could scamper across and pick up the fallen weapon. But Optic still certainly firmly favorites to take this round out. But Shroud delivers a first-class headshot with the Deagle. Stanislaw's forced out into the position right now. Shroud does eat quite a lot of damage, but he's not dead just yet. Grenades being exchanged. Stanislaw will claim the kill into Shroud, but Cloud9 have got themselves onto the A site.
Yeah, Tarek was holding A side alone, so that's a tough scenario for him. Stanislaw and Naf are only just now going to start rotating over. Stewie, nothing. Skadoodle still alive. They've got a FAMAS on Stewie. So he can look to try and take those long-range fights, and there you go. That's exactly what needs to happen from nothing. Just steps out into the open. He's got the SMG. Look for that shot, and he's going to find it. Drops Stanislaw, and now it's all on Naf, who's going to be able to do the 180. 180, but now he's got a 1-on-2 on his hands with very little time. Needs to find a kit somewhere if he really wants to have a chance here, and yeah, he's starting to make that decision. Back off, save the M4. This round's a wash. Cloud9 are going to tie it up 1-1. And so now, this is a question of whether Optic are going to go for the force buy or not. If they're going to try and commit it, throw it all in there, or is it just going to be that round of eco, waiting to see what happens next? I mean, you're looking at a double round of eco here for Optic Gaming, so we might just see that force buy, and we'll see if they can actually get something going for themselves here in this 3rd round.
Well, 1-1. That's definitely going to sting somewhat here. And Optic are going to be going straight back in with another buy. Includes an M4 and the Scout. Scout's pretty solid on this map, especially if you're going to take it towards the likes of Long. It's those pistols that's going to be the issue. And Cloud9 not skimping on anything. Full AKs with the FAMAS. So we saw in the previous best of 3, connector control was vitally important for both teams. I think we're seeing more of the same here between Cloud9 and Optic, although Optic are going to back away.
Yeah, but they did actually get some information out of this Cloud9. They saw Tarek top mid, but also they heard the Scout. So they know that Optic now have forced into this round. So that's something that's good for Cloud9 to know. They can start getting that buddy system in play. You can see a group of 3 working their way up long. And because they have those AKs, this is where they want to try and take the fight. They have the advantage of range, although we do have Mixwell holding very close around the corner with the P250, and that's going to be Tarek. The 2 of them basically trying to duo up over here. But Cloud9, once they actually clear out the initial part along, it looks like they're just going to give up on it. Although, as I say that, Automatic working his way back over here.
Optic are certainly on the back foot right now. They just got themselves a incendiary and a flashbang. Plus the aforementioned lack of weapons, but Mixwell is going to land the headshot. Tries greedily to get himself that weapon. It's going to cost him his life. 40 seconds left. Tarek now forced into more of a defensive position with the Scout as he waits for his team to wrap their way into connector from B. That should have fought Cloud9 the bomb plant at the very least.
Yeah, they'll get that, no problem at all. Now it's a matter of whether Optic, exactly, with this push coming in from connector, if they can get anything done with it. Nope, nothing is here in time. He might actually fall, though. Rush with that 5-7 long range is going to spray him down. And Rush just doing damage right now. Hits a headshot on Shroud. Skadoodle waiting around the corner, who's going to get the drop on Rush, but the damage is done, and now it's all on Naf. And he's going to turn it into the 1v1. So a very expensive round now for Cloud9, but Skadoodle's going to try and buy a little bit more time, and he's going to get the kill in the end. Beautiful work there from Ska, keeping his cool and getting 2 vital kills to keep Cloud9 in this. They go up 2-1, but that was a very scary, messy round there for Cloud9 to lose 5 guns. I mean, they lost 4 guns there. It's only Skadoodle surviving with an AK, but everybody else had actually had rifles. And we've got a technical pause now coming in. So technical meaning they're going to need an admin to come in to sort out whatever it is that's going wrong here for the players. This is not a tactical pause. So we'll see what actually happens here as we're going to have a little bit of a wait, Metas. We're going to have a little bit of a wait. What's going on, man? What's on your mind?
Not too much to digest in terms of this game. I'm still somewhat shell-shocked to Dignitas being knocked out, to be completely honest. In the way that it happened as well, the manner in which it happened. So in the final 4 teams, we actually have some of the teams that we never expected to be there. I mean, we've got Renegades. They did fantastically yesterday.
Yeah.
And of course, yesterday they beat Cloud9 on Dust 2 16-14. That's going to be the second map coming up here. So there's a lot of variables being tossed around. We are going to be live again very shortly, guys. The unpauses came in. So fortunately, not too much issues to be had.
I mean, it is fun. It does speak to just how many tournaments are going on right now in the scene when Dignitas lose and they're already tweeting like, oh, okay, well, this gives us more time to focus on, you know, X, Y, and Z that's coming up. ECS, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just like, man, you lose a tournament, you don't even care anymore if you're a player.
Yeah, maybe trying to put a bit of a shine on a very disappointing result. But into this round, Optic, really nothing apart from a P250 left alive in the hands of Naf. Yeah, Mixwell, actually, pardon me. Nafly has a P2000 instead. Both stacked just inside the water of B. And Cloud9 back to a slow round. Mac 10 in the hands of Stewie.
And they're just taking over connector. This is what allows them to start rotating over from either site very quickly. And so you can see Stewie just charging around. He's got that Mac 10, as you pointed out, so he doesn't really care. He's just going to get a maximum amount of information. And so they have restrooms control now. They've got long control. And this really just opens things up for Cloud9. They're going to start working their way closer to that A site. And unfortunately for Optic, that doesn't really play into their hands. It's only Rush holding up here with a USP. As the push begins, Shroud, nothing, working as a pair. Stewie moving up long now. He's going to hit that timing. And is he going to spot out Rush? No, it's going to be nothing to find the shot first. And so a perfect round here for Cloud9 so far. See if the remaining 3 players here for Optic can actually find a kill on somebody. There are 3 AKs to pick up.
Plenty of weapons still alive. Stewie's still doing so much work with that Mac 10. 2 more frags. A lot of money in his back pocket now. Stanislaw with USP. Cloud9 with a 3-1 lead. Optic not really off to the races just yet. And their economy is still not quite stabilized. So this is a bit of a worrying start, but still, Stanislaw's not going to be able to get that kill.
I mean, there is a bit of pressure on Optic because Dust 2 is still Cloud9's home turf, right? It's one of their stronger maps, even if they did lose it to Renegades earlier on yesterday. Cloud9 are not a team to be taken lightly on that map in particular. So Optic, there's that in the back of their minds. They know that they need to win this map and take it to Cobble in the 3rd map, basically, if they want to get through this. So we'll see if they can actually bounce back here. It is the 5th round. 3-1 lead for Cloud9 and Optic Gaming. No AWP, sadly, for them. That's a little bit unfortunate. It's going to be rifles across the board with a decent number of nades. I do like to see that they all skimp on the helmet, just saving as much money as possible with that, so that allows Rush to pick up a kit. They actually have a kit to work with in this round, Optic. But saving that $350 allows you to pick up that smoke, pick up that HE, pick up that kit, but basically work with a little bit more. When, I mean, if you run into Stewie, you just have to assume that Stewie, right? If you run into Stewie with the Mac 10 and you get 1 bullet into the face, well then, tough. If he'd have had an AK, it'd be the same result. So Optic right now, they just need to focus. And they've got a bit of a trap set in mid right now. Very aggressive way to hold so far.
Yeah, super aggro. I like the Optic haven't really expended any of their grenades just yet because they are onto already not too many. Shroud straight out with the first frag. Here comes Nafly with 2 of his own. And he may not be done just yet. In fact, he will be. The door closed in his face. Automatic, taking no prisoners. Stewie, who had Mac 10 coming into the round, trades out for an AK. 3 playing 3. All players having assault rifles, but this is where the utility may start to work against Optic. Just the one smoke and a couple flashes.
And Cloud9 definitely slowing things down here. I like that Optic, they just maintain, they keep the 2 players alive on B, ready and waiting in case Cloud9 were trying to take advantage of an over-rotation or anything of the sort. But instead, Cloud9 are content to sit and wait. They are running out of time, however. 35 seconds left in this round. And Cloud9 just taking their time, working their way up to A. Rush and Stanislaw just now getting into sewers, just now spotting that nobody is here from Cloud9. That's going to set it up for the flank, and Skadoodle may be at risk if they take too long with this. 20 seconds left, and Rush and Stanislaw, as soon as this push begins, as soon as Mixwell calls for the rotate, they could get in position to completely hamstring Cloud9. Automatic turns back in time, but he still gets wiped out by Rush.
The headshot does connect on him, though, so it's all down to Stewie. 8 seconds to play with, and so well conceived by Mixwell. He's not giving anything away for free, allows the bomb plant, realizing there's going to be a buy coming in anyway, and make sure that they don't take any further casualties, because their economy is still a little bit wrecked, to be honest.
Well, just a surprisingly slow round coming in from Cloud9. Some hesitation, and that cost them. When you have only 30 seconds left to make the play, okay, 30 seconds and you're up in restrooms, you really do need to actually start feeling a bit of pressure. You need to start making the play to get in there onto the site. So when you're pushing with 20 seconds left, you're really leaving yourself no room for error. And Optic, they were in the right place at the right time there to just completely shut out Cloud9. So that's a bit of a shame for Cloud9. They're going to have to tap into that bank. And Optic, well, they're showing that they're still in this fight. It's a bit scrappy. 3-2, Cloud9 still in the lead. And Optic continue to go for the aggressive peaks in mid. I do like it.
Both teams hanging by a thread in terms of their finances, so the winner of this is going to be able to leapfrog with a couple more rounds. Especially detrimental if it happens to be Optic. It could be into a force buy, a double eco situation. Cloud9 have a Galil, but that's no big deal. Automatic, very capable of using it. And Stewie 2K very aggressively already on the sandbags. So this stops any kind of shenanigans pushing through into connector that Optic have already shown that they're very capable and willing of doing.
I'm just checking up on the stats right now to see Stewie leading the way. That does bode well for Cloud9. Automatic is fairly low, but Skadoodle is doing a decent enough job as well. And there you go. Speak of the devil, Stewie trades 1 for 1. Still favorable. Unfortunately, Shroud wasn't there to be able to trade quick enough. That was an opportunity for Cloud9 to get a man advantage. But still, 4-on-4 scenario should still favor Cloud9. Young Stu managing to pick up that kill was actually pretty valuable there for Cloud9. Now, it does seem like Cloud9 have really got their sights set on this A site so far at the beginning of this half. They really do want to just get up onto the pointy letter.
I love that play as well, because Optic have been so fast to rotate. Stewie was already a step ahead, thinking, okay, they may go for it again. Skadoodle in the meanwhile will get Mixwell as he goes aggressively. So 2 kills, 2 key frags for Cloud9 have came at the expense of Optic just playing aggro and playing themselves into a trap. Here comes Tarek, he's the next to fall. That will be the bomb planted, and Optic saving.
Oh, the nade body block, that's so painful to watch. It's so frustrating because that's a split second where he comes around the truck, split second earlier, he might get that kill when he's fully flashed, right? And then it's a different scenario. Cloud9 are then battling to get onto the A site. It buys time for the rotation to come over from the B site for Optic. Instead, he gets nade blocked and then just fed in there. And nothing, he might be able to catch Rush here looking the wrong way. Unfortunately for Rush, he turns away just as nothing comes around the corner. That's one of the heartbreaking things of CS. Timing is everything. And sometimes Lady Luck really doesn't have your back. Nothing with 2 kills. Denies the save from Optic, and Cloud9 just continue to extend their lead now 4-2, and it's looking good for them because Optic are broke. A double eco scenario here for Optic unless they can make something magical happen. Yeah, and there it is. Look at that. That's horrible. Because the flash comes in, Shroud is fully blind. Tarek would have been peeking Shroud as he was fully blind. He would have got that kill to start. And I could have made things a bit more interesting there for Optic.
Sometimes things just don't go your way. Unfortunately, Optic, as you highlighted, into an eco. P250 and a flash. Try and make this work. And judging from their position, there could be some kind of a flash into a fountain push.
Yep.
Looks the most likely outcome.
Exactly. They're just waiting for some kind of tell, or it's going to be a second timing. Exactly, there it is. Unfortunately, the flash does not catch automatic. Still able to pick up 2 kills out of that, but Mixwell stems the bleeding, and he's going to be able to recover that AK. In the meantime, however, Stewie has managed to work his way all the way through B site, up into, exactly, he's going to be able to cut off Tarek. And now that bomb is getting planted on the B side. He knows exactly what's coming. Tarek does stand his ground and fight. That's actually pretty well done. Does a little bit of damage to Stewie. And Shroud catches Mixwell. Now it's going to be the hunt for Naf.
Oh man, do they need to save this weapon as a result of their economy? This would be a nice bonus.
Oh, it'd be huge.
But you better believe that Cloud9 are going to do their best to comb their way through the site and get rid of this. But because they pushed up long, that could bait them into assuming that Naf flies towards the T spawn, which of course we have the benefit of knowing is not the case. He's in bathroom. Is there enough time for Cloud9 to get themselves up in the face of Naflight. There isn't going to be, so that AK will get saved. Nicely done. What can they do with it in the next round, though?
That's the question, right? We'll see. I mean, 5-2. Cloud9 continue to press forward. AK's in hand. And, well, the question is, does Optic have enough? They just barely do to get a reasonable buy on the board. But, again, it means skimping on helmets. Although, as I say that, Naf and Mixwell... Well, Mixwell had the money to go for the full. But Naf, for example, he saves at 350. Another flash, another kit. Options, right? There were options, but unfortunately for him, he goes for the helmet instead. Let's see the push here. It's just straight up YOLO onto the B site now. ZOWIE and nothing doing work, but Naf holds the line. 2 big headshots for him.
Beautifully done. He still retains most of his health. That's until Shroud takes him out of the equation. Erases him off the map. Mixwell, Taric, trying to battle back onto the site. Has been planted. Mixwell does have an incendiary left if he so chooses. He's trying to come up on the short side. Meanwhile, Taric doesn't seem too interested. Throwing over the smoke on the flashbang, pardon me. We'll get the spray alongside Mixwell. Onto nothing. Final players are Skadoodle and Shroud, one of which is in graffiti, and Skadoodle is going to connect the headshot, threads the needle. Oh, and the second kill comes through as well. It's heartbreaking for Optic, but 6-2, and again, the economy just edging away from them.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get that economy rolling for quite some time, it seems. Cloud9 are just looking too good. That was a very solid fight here put up by Nafly. I mean, it was shaping up to be a fantastic start to the round. But unfortunately, Naf was in the right place at the right time for Cloud9 to take 2 bullets to the head. Still, good recovery from Cloud9, and they will be able to continue pressing forward. P250s and Deagles here for Optic, trying to save money for the next round. And Cloud9 realizing this, they're just taking very passive angles. Shroud, unfortunately, going to miss the shot. He had it for free there on Taric, but it's not going to happen. And so that's a little bit of information gained for Optic, at least. You can see them backing off in mid now, and that's actually prompting the Source push, but nothing is ready for it.
Nothing just decides to back away rather than stand and fight for too much longer. So we're going to see a boost up now onto Sandbags. They're taking a lot of damage in the process as the wallbang comes through. Cheeky by Nafly, but he won't get any reward for his hubris. Stanislaus going to be able to back away. It's all well and good that Optic are dodging these aggressions, but still, when it comes down to the business end of this round and the AKs are facing up against pistols, Cloud9 should prevail.
No, they're looking very good indeed. Taking their time. 55 seconds left on the clock. A surprisingly slow round from Cloud9. Really pacing themselves. And now they've spread out all across the map. Not a huge fan of this, actually, from Cloud9. The fact that they're just really spread. Stewie is all alone. Mixwell, if he comes around the corner and just 1-deags him or P250s him in the head, exactly. There's an AK picked up for Stewie. From Mixwell. Just, yeah, these sorts of anti-eco scenarios. Now nothing gets picked. Skadoodle has to worry about another AK at his back. And I'm just really surprised. Not the best way to handle an anti-eco situation, unfortunately, for Cloud9. Them spreading out, that's 2 guns that are dropped. And Stanislaw can try and save that AK if he wants to.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not necessarily this round they have to be too worried about. It's the next one where they get to bolster their buy. And Optic are getting more chances as a result of maybe a lapse of concentration, maybe just timing. These things happen. Shroud's going to get 1, knows that there are no stilts in the game, and therefore will spray through the wall. Stanislaw is dead. Rush is tagged. Cloud9 will have a 7-2 lead on their T-half, though, of Overpass. This is a fantastic start.
Let's see. This should be Rush holding onto the AK. Taric is going to get caught by Skadoodle. Very sane stuff here in the end. And kind of going as expected. Automatic not going to be able to hunt down Rush. And so they will have the opportunity to go for that one-shot headshot with that AK in the next round, Rush. And that really just saves him so much money. It's a full buy for him. He gets to spend everything. And it's a very healthy buy coming in here for Optic. Mixwell has finally got his AWP as well. Skadoodle still staying on the AK here for Cloud9. But it's a 7-2 lead for Cloud9 right now. They're off to a fantastic start here on their T-side Overpass.
And typically when you see a 7-2 lead, you're looking at the likes of Optic's score and you're thinking, okay, it's going to be a couple players that have 1 kill, maybe 0. They're all pulling their weight. There's only a 2 kill difference between the top and the bottom of Mixwell and Stanislaw and Taric. So it goes to show that, sure, it's a 7-2 lead, but a lot of these rounds have got a lot of kills going the way of Optic, even though they've lost. And here comes another one. Taric and Lafly in Connector will tag team onto Cloud9, taking 2 players off the map for the time being. And connector control is also important, but nothing is going to take that away from them again with a nice entry. He gets shut down from Rush, you get the second one, and now Skadoodle is going to be trying to force his way up. Monster has very little in terms of options. He just has to go for broke. He's going to tag on towards Rush and take him down finally, but Nafly and Mixwell still on the table.
Yeesh, that's so scary. Valuable seconds being lost, and that ends up costing him in the end. The plant is not going to happen. Skadoodle denied, and that all starts off of a very nice setup and connector, basically, that just plays into Optic Gaming's hands. Nothing, just a second too early there. Running out, it seems. Skadoodle wasn't in position to back him up and immediately trade that kill going into the B site. Drops the bomb, commits Cloud9 to the B site. And Optic, they come out ahead. Not keeping that many players alive, but still, solid work in the end. 7-3. And that's the important bit right now. You just need to get rounds on the board if you're Optic Gaming.
That's the key thing, isn't it? It's all well and good getting forces going your way, getting a couple kills here and there, saving weapons. Now the currency that matters at the top of your scoreboard, and that reads that Cloud9 are way out ahead. That gap needs to be bridged. Again, you're seeing there's not a huge amount of difference in terms of frags between the two teams. It's just Cloud9 have been getting the upper hand in those clutch scenarios. Optic have got to start to make these buys stick, though. They've had plenty of opportunities. Is this the moment?
Yo, there we go. Shroud. Toe-to-toe, dancing with Nafly. He's got 3 HP, tries to pre-fire, not going to hit it, but Automatic does find the headshot on Tarek. Stewie trades versus Mixwell, and a 3-on-3 with Stewie just barreling onto the A site. Only problem is Skadoodle just a little bit worried about Connector. Naf's still down there until nothing catches him, rotating to B. Perfectly done here for Cloud9. Although, as I say that, Stanislaw is going to catch nothing looking the wrong way. Still a 2-on-2. This should favor Cloud9 in this situation.
Certainly should, especially as they've got the bomb planted now. But Optic are going to split up. They've got a player coming around the back of them on connector. That's going to be Stanislaw and Rush and Bank. So Rush just needs to bide his time for a little while longer. Stewie's got the angle to his left-hand side, and Rush comes out ahead. Not the result I was expecting. And that makes things a lot harder for Skadoodle. He will land the first frag on the already weakened Rush and looks to chime in for a second and will get it. The clutch goes the way of Cloud9. And again, Optic so close, yet so far.
Very well done there by Ska, keeping his cool. And that is now, well, Cloud9 continuing to extend their lead. Optic, you can tell, they're looking a little deflated right now. They aren't really getting anything to go their way. This was excellent work here from Skadoodle. Gets the angle, holds it, takes down Stanislaw for the clutch. But even at the beginning of the rounds right now, they have the setups. They just seem to, well, the round before it worked in Connector and they were able to extend it from there, but this mid setup just didn't pan out whatsoever. Stewie expecting the eco is just going in there, hell-bent on making money. Wants to do Thor and Proud, and so far he's doing all right, except that he's getting the kills with the Glock and not the UMP, so you kind of want the bonus money there, Stu. It's the whole point of buying the SMG.
Well, here we go. He's going to be listening with UMP now. Not able to get it. Nothing. He's going to try and take this away from him. Does receive a dink. Mixwell. Pretty impressive that he was able to connect that shot, but of course it's just a drop in the ocean because Cloud9 still in command of the round. Optic will go 9-3 behind.
Man, and again, the AKs. Tarek gets to hold on to an AK now. Let's see if and he's going to survive the round. Nobody's hunting him just yet. So that's going to be a bit of a stretch to actually get rid of him in the end. He is going to get to hold on to it. And so, well, they'll have an AK to work with again. Optic. They'll get that AK. It's a real tough scenario that, I mean, Nothing and Shroud are kind of canvassing the map, but Tarek is wise in this sort of scenario. He got the kill in bank. He's going to chill in bank. So he'll be able to hold on to this gun for the next round. But yeah, Cloud9, I mean, well, it's just so difficult in anti-eco scenarios. You do want to try and get the kills, but at the same time, you don't want to be sacrificing your weapons and saving your opponent's money in the next round. That's the big thing, because now, basically, Mixwell can hold on to it, or he's got the AK. Did they trade it away from him? Or was it Mixwell who got the kill, or I thought it was Tarek who got the kill?
I believe it was, yeah. Tarek saved the weapon.
All right, well, he passed it over to Mixwell. That allows for Mixwell to buy full in this round. So, I don't know. Tricky stuff, basically. Cloud9, 9-3.
Optic pretty much just have to win out from here on. I can't see if it gets towards 10-5, 11-4 territory that they're going to have enough on their T side to contend with Cloud9. Oh, the spray from Rush is on point. The flashbang lands in the eyes of Nothing and Automatic. Stewie 2K is going to do what he can with UMP. That's a great opening start to round 13 for Optic. Can they finish it off, though? It's looking good. Shroud is going to answer back, though, onto Rush.
Now this comes down to almost like Lady Luck. The timing for Mixwell. Is he going to catch them off guard or not? So he's going to be coming in from T-spawn. Shroud and Skadoodle going to be able to stick that bomb plant. And Tarek and Nafly taking their time with this, coming in from upper. But again, this is Mixwell. I think he's going to be the most important player here for Optic in this retake. And Shroud is now just starting to check, basically see if anybody's going for that flank. He's trusting in Skadoodle to land the shots, and then unfortunately for him, he gets caught by Mixwell. So it's all on Skadoodle now to catch the mid-air. He's going to get one big spray. Not going to get the follow-up, though. Nafly with the pre-fire just hoses that area with bullets, and there's nothing Skadoodle can do. Optic with the 4th round on the board here, putting up a fight towards the end of this first half.
Yeah, really required as well by Optic. Got to keep this going forward, though. They're going to be able to replenish those lost weapons from the previous round. And this is really what set things in motion. Rush getting a 3K from Monster was so instrumental, so vital.
Yeah. That's just a real tough spot for Cloud9 because he's in the perfect spot to deal with that rush. Flash is ineffective. He's not blinded. He's catching them looking away because they're expecting the flash. It's just everything lines up perfectly, and Rush doesn't mess it up. Ah, what a read. This could be perfect here. Automatic, if they actually go for the peak, if they decide to play this aggressive Optic, you got Mixwell and Tarek, and it looks like they're going to give up on it, although they might still have the option to go for the boost. They're not going to do it. Cloud9 might be walking right into the trap here along Automatic. No, it's Skadoodle. Bomb is dropped. Automatic looking to trade that kill, and he's going to find it. Somehow Tarek not there with the angle. He's trying to fall back now as quickly as possible.
Oh, that drop flash really helps Tarek out for a few more seconds before Shroud will turn the noose from long bathroom. Yeah, it's got to be frustrating there for Cloud9. They're up on that perch for quite a while. As soon as they move, Skadoodle gets fragged. But the trade's certainly going in their favor. Still a lot of time to burn, though, and get through. Seems like B is the site of choice. In the meanwhile, Nafly has been in this position before. Earlier, he got 2 kills from here. We'll make it work again for him. Stanislaw jumping over for some information. He's going to find it as a Molotov flies at his face. It's going to keep him at bay for the time being, allow Cloud9 to get the plant on B.
Now they have the confirmation so they can start rotating in together, Optic. Bomb only just now planted. Rush and Stanislaw going to work their way down. Nafly going to take the high ground. Okay, 2-pronged attack here coming in from Optic Gaming, trying to crush onto this B site. The smoke there to block off the man on short. Nothing right on the edge of it, but it doesn't matter. Stewie, the first point of contact, and it plays out perfectly. Stewie with 2 headshots, nothing with one of his own, and nothing peeking right as Stu draws attention to himself as well. What a nightmare situation there for Optic. They walked right into a perfect crossfire.
In the last round of the half, we'll see them with, well, the scrape at the bottom of the barrel here. Scout, pistols.
10-4, and this is the Cloud9 we had kind of expected to see coming into this group phase. That we expected to see yesterday versus Renegades, to be frank. Just a Cloud9 that's going to bully their opponents, that's going to do very solid work. And right now, I'm very impressed. Whereas Optic, they're struggling, clearly. They just can't seem to get their feet under them. 15th round, and already nothing has found the first shot on Stanislaw. So this very well could end 11-4 for Cloud9 at the end of the first half. That's an excellent scoreline.
Oh, they'll be delighted with that score, absolutely. At that stage, if Optic lose the pistol, they're pretty much already a foot out of this map, and then we head to Dust 2. A map that Cloud9 will certainly be fancying for themselves. Nothing with another kill. Both the opening picks have gone his way. Automatic will be sharing the burden, and this leaves Tarek with his scout and the P250 in the hands of Rush. That last line of defense. They have done a bit of damage towards Automatic and Stewie, but again, it's a case of surely they can't convert from here. Rush could get the headshot onto nothing. That's going to afford him an AK-47, but Shroud is having none of it. Oh, that would have been a tasty shot. If Tarek had landed instead, Shroud will sum it up. 11-4. What a half that is for Cloud9.
Yeah, very solid work. And well, you just see Optic, they're looking so frustrated right now, down in the dumps. Nothing really worked out for them well, the main thing here is just that with the round wins, it was always just one round win for Optic Gaming, and then they lose the following round. They never succeeded in chaining rounds together. And if you're on the CT side and you're not actually able to chain rounds together, you're never going to have the grenades to set up a proper defense. You're never going to have the perfect firepower. And that's what we saw here for Optic Gaming. Cloud9, every single time, it was just formulaic. It was three win streak. Optic win a round, great. Okay, then 4 rounds for Cloud9 in a row. Optic before Optic win their next round. That was the entire first half, where it was just Optic never really able to train rounds, and so Cloud9 basically just got the perfect half for themselves. That's easy street when you're on T side. If the CT side never has the money for nades, for example, or are always having to skimp.
Yeah. And also, importantly, it means Mixwell can't get AWPs, and he is the guy that you're looking at to dig you out of ditches time and time again.
True.
So if he's not getting AWPs, that is going to put even more pressure on Optic, and clearly they couldn't hang. So, pistol or bust, it definitely feels that way. Of course, Optic, not necessarily out of it if they do lose the pistol, but they'll be at such a huge deficit. And it will be a case of Cloud9 in riches. So, Connector being assembled through from Optic. You're not going to be able to make a move in, but this is where the USPs can do a lot of damage on the retreat for Cloud9.
Yeah, those fall away headshots, basically. You're just trying to get around those corners. You're spraying and praying. T-side is trying to hunt you down. And then one of them takes a bullet to the face, ruins their day. It is going to be the long take here. A little bit of a peek for information. Automatic. Not sure if he spotted it. He definitely knows Rush is up there now, so there's a little bit of information gained. But in the meantime, that bomb is still floating around in Connector. They haven't quite made up their minds yet, Optic, where they want to go, because they still have Tarek floating over by B, by Monster, looking for a delayed push out here. But that bomb is finally making its way back up into mid. Stewie is going to get overrun. Stanislaw wins the duel versus him. Now it's automatic, and there we go. The trade. Back and forth it goes. Nothing. Going to get the drop on Tarek somehow, and he's going to get that shot as well. Still on short. Nafly, nothing, gets 2 kills. How does this happen?
It looks so scrappy. It looked like he'd whiffed out on his opportunity, but still 2 kills, and so important. Optic were in the player advantage up until that moment. And now they're forced their way onto B. Here we go. It's going to be Shroud next up on the plate. Can he deliver? Down to 34. For him, just staying alive just puts so many question marks over Optic. They can't force the plant now. So Shroud is doing so much in terms of presence. Mixwell is going to connect onto Skadoodle, looking for a second kill. Here comes Shroud. It's all on Mixwell, and there is automatic. 2 kills for him. Second pistol goes the way of Cloud9.
And that's pretty much it. That seals it. 2 pistols in the round, and so far a dominant first half. Going into the second half, Cloud9 picking up that pistol, it's just going to go ahead and really just make it the Cloud9 show here, I think. Unless Optic can go for some kind of YOLO rush, maybe just rush B with Tech-9s, throw caution to the wind. But as far as Cloud9 are concerned, they're perfectly happy. They've got the reception party already. Stewie, top mid, gets the tag on Stanislaw, doing the damage. And they have a decent nade count here for Cloud9, so no reason to overstay your welcome. Stewie and Skadoodle going to back off towards that A site. Not really give Optic the chance to reply here and do a little bit of damage themselves.
I really like the way that Cloud9 are playing this round. They went for the info, they realized, okay, let's not play into the advantages of Optic Spy. Let's just go and sit back on the site. And this really now does put Optic into a horrific position. They've got no utility left. That peak is on point. This is going to be able to clean up the kill onto Rush, and a lot of damages on Stanislaw and Mixwell on top of that. Tarek is going to answer back. Here comes Skadoodle's scout. Good for 1 kill. Any more? Doesn't look likely as he goes down, but the cavalry's arrived, and Cloud9 will sweep aside Optic.
I don't understand. Did Nafly realize that he had the bomb on him this entire round? I already wasn't a big fan of him having it solo in Connector. If he gets caught in Connector, drops the bomb there, that's it. That's pretty much the round over for Optic. But then he's running in and challenging. Instead of, like, what, asking for his teammates to cover for him, he's running in and challenging with the bomb on the other side of Optimus and just dies with the bomb there. So that's pretty much the round over for Optic at that point. Really, the round is built around getting that bomb plant. That's pretty much the ideal scenario for you. Nice trade here in Connector at least. Stewie going to take 1, but Tarek is there to trade. Nothing. Will return the kill, but that's an M4 now in Mixwell's hands, so we'll see if he can actually get anything going for themselves there.
Unfortunately, no Kevlar, though. And SMGs will shred through very vulnerable members, and it's going to be nothing from behind. Perfect timing on the flank. Tarek's not going to do it. 10-round deficit, Cloud9. I mean, it's day and night between this performance and yesterday. This is the Cloud9 we expected to see, and finally they've shown up.
Yeah, nothing's pretty happy about that round, that's for sure. 4 kills with the UMP, mad money, plus the win bonus. Doesn't get much better than that. 14-4, Cloud9 in the lead. Skadoodle has his AWP, and still no op for Optic Gaming. Unfortunately for them, They have to battle their way uphill on this one. It's Cloud9 with a huge margin for error. But they aren't really messing around. They don't go over aggressive. They do challenge just a little bit at mid to begin with. But apart from that, it is very much going to be a Source take here from Cloud9. Nothing, making his way in there now, trying to get eyes on Connector. Not really spotting anybody just yet. He's backed up by Shroud.
Nothing continues to impress as well. He's 23 and 11 with 3 assists. There's a lot being said about how, you know, ZOWIE and Automatic get a lot of the plaudits, but nothing's been chugging along in terms of stats. And that hasn't slowed up here. He's had a great game. Optic, in the meanwhile, haven't really been able to get too much done. And here comes the push from Cloud9. Information. They will find it. Nafly gets 2. That is huge for Optic. And he retains 77 health. That push not working. That leaves B a little bit vulnerable, but Skadoodle's going to jump on top of that opportunity. It's going to be the A hit, though.
Automatic is low, but ZOWIE is still alive on the A site itself. Stanislaw, Tarek, and Rush are about to go running onto it. And they get the instant shot. Tarek, that was so key. Drops ZOWIE immediately. A 2-on-4 scenario. Automatic has rotated up. He's going to try and create some space for himself here to get out by Optimus. Smoke is down, but it's so effective that he just can't see a damn thing. And now it's Skadoodle trying to make his way in. But it's just not going to pan out. 2-on-4. Optic with the after-plant positions. It's almost a scenario where Cloud9 should just be looking to back off and save their guns.
I mean, this would be a Herculean throw if Optic lost from here. You just can't, at this level, you cannot lose around like this. And yeah, Cloud9 have read the situation. Unfortunately, so had Nafly, and made sure that no survivors. But Automatic has something to say about that. He may end up getting killed by the bomb anyway. Just 40 health. Has to sprint away. There we go. He is going to meet his demise.
Hey, look at the positive side, Metas. He didn't give $300 away.
True.
You know?
And no AWP as well. They're not going to get their hands on that.
You see, that's the thing. Just sacks himself to the bomb, stays back. No freebies, no party favors there for Optic. Optic finally succeeded in breaking Cloud9's win streak, though. 5-14. Optic trailing pretty far behind, but they get the chance to bring it up to 6 here because Cloud9 just pistols on this round for them. Not the full force either. It's just a half buy. And Skadoodle going to get caught out in Connector. Nice start here for Mixwell, but he's not alone. Automatic is still waiting around here trying to play around the edges of the smoke. And with the CZ75 in this position, you can do some damage. You can certainly ruin somebody's day.
I'm totally on board with this buy as well for Cloud9. There's no great rush or pressure for them to close this out. One way that Optic could get back into this is if we start to see some reckless force buys and you break the economy of Cloud9 a few times in a row. So I'm totally cool with this. Of course, it does mean that Optic are likely going to take this round, but it's the bigger picture, the longer haul they're looking for.
Yeah, the timing doesn't work out there for Automatic, sadly. And it is going to be Optic Gaming just powering through in this round, keeping all 5 rifles alive. That is the key here for them. They need to maintain everything. Whereas Stewie and nothing. I mean, young Stew's still got the Deeg. He can definitely look for some one-taps here. Trying to channel his inner scream.
There's one.
There we go.
Oh. The dream is not real. What's nothing got in store? He's got the flashbang out to the ping. Oh, lands the shot while flashed. That is disgusting.
All right. There we go. We can take that. Damn, Stu needed just a little bit more. 3 players on 5,000. And another round of eco coming in here from Cloud9. Okay, then. All right, don't throw caution to the wind. You've got all the time in the world, Cloud9, so you're just going to go ahead, continue to just keep a little bit of pressure on Optic, but Optic should be getting up to 7 rounds here, considering it is an eco coming in from Cloud9, but I do like it. Just save for your nades, save for your rifles. You're going to get that AWP on Skadoodle. This is looking good here for Cloud9. I like it. Some good discipline being demonstrated.
That's exactly it. Don't get carried away. Time to burn. Optic are going to have to win a good 4 or 5 rifle rounds, you have to feel here, if they even want to get back to even, especially how Cloud9 are setting up for this next one. So they're going to be okay. They're trying to stack in bathroom. Tarek is going to pick himself up too. But there's the AK crossing hands again, and nothing is going to pick it up with the pistol. Hold the phones for a second. We were talking like this round was already a loss, but a 3v3 still up in the air.
Let's say this was supposed to be. It's still supposed to be Optic's round, but yeah, they certainly have taken some damage. Drop 2 players. Skadoodle still close with the P250. This is within headshot range. There you go. Nice demonstration. Nearly picks up the kill on Rush as well. And we're into a 2-on-2 now. 45 seconds left on the clock for Optic. And Shroud hasn't over-rotated either. He's still alive. He hasn't even seen any action. He's at 100 HP. But nothing with this AK. If they try to slow walk in here when he's holding the angle, he can definitely turn this into a 2-on-1.
Yeah. Even with his 21 health, it's that kind of position you can land the insta one-tap. Pops up, does get knocked back down again. It's up to Shroud. Optic, you have got to take this round away. Shroud lands the next frag, but Stanislaw does come good. They lose 4 weapons in the process, though. So that's going to sting. And now this is the moment we've been waiting for. Cloud9 patiently for the last 2 rounds, able to pull the trigger on a buy, and it is going to be a full buy across the board.
Yeah, no time wasted at all in this one. They've got kits, they've got all the nades, the rifles, and the AWP on Skadoodle. This is the moment now for Cloud9 to get that lockdown going. And it's going to be aggro mid again here. Skadoodle and Stewie charging up. Stewie actually going to have a little bit of a presence in connector. Skadoodle flashed, not going to be able to land his shot. So he has to give ground, and this is quick thinking from Stu. He backs off with Skadoodle. Rather than getting hung out to dry, left alone in connector, very quick on the trigger there. He just decides, all right, that's it. Not going to overstay my welcome over here and get caught. He backs off with Ska, and the defense remains.
Impressive again by Cloud9, but Optic have shown a bit of tenacity that they're not willing to go down without a fight. No one has more kills than deaths on their team, which is a bit sad, but they'll be looking to try and change that in the next few rounds if given the opportunity. Bomb's still around the back, so not fully committing, although they have 3 players coming through. Monster 1 short, and now the bomb is in hot pursuit. Can Cloud9 stop the charge?
Playing from water right now, Shroud. There's a perfect flash, but he's not able to follow up on it. He's going to get overwhelmed. Shroud not able to capitalize. Nothing, however, still dancing on the edge of this smoke, and he's just going to go jumping in. Misses the jump. Mixwell, what a shameful way to die. Nothing. Naf going to get a kill of his own as well, but it's over. It might as well be. Skadoodle backing off already with 1 HP. And Stewie, there isn't a whole lot he can hope to do, especially with the fresh smoke going down on upper. Parting shot there from Mixwell, but that is pretty embarrassing for nothing, unfortunately for him.
I suppose that the good news is he can cry into his 14 rounds and realize it's not the end of the world, but Optic have claimed themselves a rifle round. It's going to get them 1 step closer. Still going to be 6 behind. Skadoodle surely is going to lose this AWP. He is going to make it sting, though, for Optic. Kill goes his way, made a bit of noise, and actually died to the bomb, did he?
Well, 1 HP, right?
That far away, though, jeez.
I mean, he'll die to a strong sneeze.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just a gust of wind. Oh, there I go. 8-14. Optic still in this. And while it is Cloud9 actually going for a little bit of a buy here. Interesting. They're not going for the straight hard eco. Skadoodle will have enough for his AWP in the next round. That much is fair, so... I believe it was Shroud who went for the scout. So Stewie actually has some... he has a toy to play with over here. We'll see if he can find anybody to pick. Optic playing very passively. Definitely don't want to get caught by their own eco setup. The flash into mid, into fountain, into basically a whole bunch of chaos. But there's a bit of information actually gained for Optic. 2 players at long. That 1 shot with the scout and then Ska getting tagged down. That's going to tell Optic at least a little something.
Stanislaw did get winged as well from the scout, so he's down to 31 with a bomb. So this is where the P250s become that much more deadly. No longer just the headshot required. The rest of his team are very healthy though, so it's not too much of an issue. Setting up for the Molotov onto the site. Optic not going for any super aggressive play. They're still respecting Cloud9's prowess, even if it is with pistols and the scout. Now looking to funnel our way over on the B side of the map. 50 seconds left.
And it's about now where Cloud9 are going to start pushing for info. Automatic is starting to inch his way forward to see if he can look into Monster. Not going to find it. And this is just a very passive way of playing the B defense. They aren't actually putting anybody out there at risk. It's Shroud who's holding here. And, well, not going to find the 1-digs just yet. Instead, Rush will go ahead and land the headshot on him. Automatic still hanging around, however. In between nothing and Automatic, things are falling apart. The wallbang shot there from Mixwell, but Stewie decides to chime in, and somehow Cloud9 do it. Nearly a hard eco, and they actually come out ahead. That puts them up on map point, 15-8. Optic are kicking themselves.
Automatic take about. That was beautiful. Those 2 1-taps were sensational. Just quickly changing the fortune of this round away from Optic. There we go, 2. Nearly landed a 3rd as well into the player that was pushing on short. 7 map points to save for Optic. They've got an AWP. in the hands of Tarek, actually. Looking to force their will. Tarek had a good spawn for Monster. He's going to be peeking that one. No one is forthcoming, though, for Cloud9. And this is looking like it could be over, CSM. I can't see how Optic win this round.
Namely, it'll come down to a mistake from Cloud9. But look at this. Cloud9, we haven't really seen any all-out rushes or very aggressive plays coming in from Optic, although this could be classified as one. Now, we actually have an angle there for Tarek to work with. He's been flashed into it. Nothing could make the mistake of peeking, but seeing that flash come over has to tell him something. Has to tell him that it's a bit of a dangerous angle to go into. But it will be a mistake on Cloud9's part, basically, that will allow for an opening here. And the attempt from the wallbang, I like it! Good try, but no cigar this time.
55 seconds. Cloud9 still have such a huge bulk of grenades to play with. And with Skadoodle landing the shot onto Stanislaw. And it's going to hamstring Optic. 45 seconds left. Bomb just gets picked up and we'll move. Transition over onto B. This is where Shroud's position could be so powerful. You come out there with the AWP, you're probably looking towards barrels. And then into the water, and with nothing close, this could bait them out. Although the trajectory of that smoke will give the position away, but it doesn't matter. Tarek is dead. There's only a couple of AKs with a Deagle to play with, making a couple of AKs. Time is scarce itself, and Cloud9 are moving so close to taking this map. 15 seconds now, Optic up against 5. This is it gonna be done. Rush is gonna put a bit of pressure on though with 2 tasty shots with the AK. There we go, Shroud and Skadoodle come through at the end. 16-8. And next up is Dust 2, so it's not gonna get any easier for Optic.
No, Dust 2 is Cloud9's pick as well. It's their usual stomping ground. Cloud9 definitely did not look themselves yesterday when they played Renegades on the map. It was a bit too close there. Renegades were able to eke out the win, which is why Cloud9 are currently playing for second seed, but this Cloud9 looked very good. Confident, looking for fights, never allowing Optic to actually get into the match. First half never panned out for Optic. They never had the money. And so now, well, we go into a map that should be Cloud9 favored. And Optic, they just don't look like they have any heart right now. Like, you go over, each time you look at them, each camera view is just them, you know, like, doing a happy impression, you know, like, oh, okay. I guess we can go home. You know, I don't know. Like, what's going on here? Fire it up, boys. You guys need to take the fight. You're going up against Cloud9. You should know how Cloud9 tick.
Yeah, it was surprising, honestly. There didn't seem like any fire underneath them. No. You know, whereas Cloud9, every time the cameras went to them, they were all pretty lighthearted, pretty happy, smiles across the board, and why the hell not? They were dominant in that map. Dust 2, Optic are going to have to step up a couple of levels. They're going to need the AWPers especially to be firing on all cylinders. Otherwise, it's done. Brilliant.
Guys got hops. All right. We're going to take a quick break, guys, before we get into map 2. It's going to be Dust 2 coming up between Optic and Cloud9 after this.